Hey guys, welcome back. What are we going to paint today?
A pumpkin.
Let's get started. Today we each have a sheet of watercolor paper. The paper I'm using today is called Fluid 100 and it's a cold pressed cotton watercolor paper, so it's actually really great quality, but it's one of the less expensive brands that's out there. So if you're looking for affordable paper to use with your kiddos, that's a great option. We each have a pencil with an eraser. We have a paintbrush, a Sharpie, and each of us has a water jar and some paper towels for blotting. And my paints today that I'm going to be using are liquid watercolors. These are by Dr. P.H. Martin's. And I just have a red, a yellow, brown, and green, and those are just the colors you need. Or you can just have orange. We're going to make our orange by mixing yellow and red. So you really just need 3 paint colors, orange, green, and brown. Are you ready to start? Okay,
Yes.
Let's set these aside for now. All we need to begin is our pencil. So you got your pencil here. Now, what are some distinctive characteristics of a pumpkin? What's the difference between, say, a pumpkin and an apple?
A pumpkin is orange and an apple is red.
What else is different about it? If we're looking at these different photographs, what do you see that's different about the surface of a pumpkin versus an apple?
A pumpkin, it has
It's got like these ridges in it. Do you see those?
the ridges.
Mm-hmm.
A pumpkin is bumpy.
And how would you describe an apple?
An apple is smooth.
Yeah. So one way that we're going to make our pumpkin not look like any other kind of fruit or vegetable is by giving it the characteristics that are true of a pumpkin. Its orangeness, its shape, it's got a really thick stem on the top, and it's got those ridges along the surface. Now, pumpkins come in a lot of different shapes, right? How would you describe the shape of a pumpkin?
The shape of a pumpkin, it could be an oval, though it's tipped over on its side.
Yeah, and ovals come in all different sizes too. They can be wide or fat or skinny or tall. So really, you can make your oval-shaped pumpkin any way you want. I'm going to start by making kind of a lopsided oval. So find sort of the middle of your paper and just start with an oval. And try to fill up your whole paper. I left a little space here for the stem, but you can go all the way across like that. And usually the stem on a pumpkin kind of turns sideways. It doesn't stick straight up. So I'm going to make my stem come out like this. I'm doing 2 parallel lines that are curving away like that.
I've seen some with bumps.
Yeah, some are bumpy. That's the beauty of this project. You can make your pumpkin any way you want. Now, as we mentioned, there are these ridges in the pumpkin that are so distinctive to pumpkins. So I'm going to start in the middle of the stem, and I'm just going to draw a straight line coming down to the bottom. Then, for the next line, I'm going to make it just a little more curved, kind of mirroring the shape of the side of the pumpkin. We're going to do that, curving these lines towards the bottom of the pumpkin, almost like stripes on a beach ball. So we're making half circles that are moving in the shape of the sides of the pumpkin, starting from the stem all the way to the middle of the bottom. So I'll start at the stem and then curve to the bottom like that.
Easy.
Yeah, wow, that looks great. Nice job. And so that's pretty much it for our drawing. I'm going to add a couple little ridges in there. But now we can take our Sharpies and outline our pumpkin. You can outline the ridges if you want to. Make those really stand out. Wow, nice job.
Yours looks good.
Yours does too. Okay, while Ansley's finishing up her outline, I'm going to squeeze some paint into our porcelain palette right here. And we're going to start with this yellow color. Something else we're going to add to our pumpkins, and we're going to mark this with pencil first, is highlights. So when the sun hits an object, especially a smooth object like the surface of the pumpkin, it creates what we call highlights, which are little areas that are lighter than the rest of it. And so to indicate those highlights, I'm just taking my pencil and I'm going to mark out a couple spots where I want it to be a lot lighter, where the sun is hitting. Okay, so I'm just going to try to avoid those areas with my paint. And on this side, which is furthest away from the sun, we're going to have shadows, and that's what we're going to use the brown for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'll show you kind of as we're going. But let's go ahead and start with our yellow color first. We're not going to mix orange yet. It's going to actually mix on the paper. So start by dipping your brush in the water. I'll move it here so you guys can see. Dip your brush and then swipe the tip of your brush on the edge of your jar to remove any extra water. And dip in the yellow, and we're going to start on the left side of the pumpkin, just painting inside of our lines and around the highlights. This rich, warm yellow color.
It's almost like the sun.
It's a golden yellow, very pretty. And you can use this color all across the pumpkin, all the way to the other side. When we use our red, it's going to mix on top of the yellow to create orange. Painting around our highlights. Good job on that. So paint the whole pumpkin inside of your lines. You don't have to paint the stem yet. We'll save that. Nice.
We're going to paint the stem green.
Now, grab a little bit of your red, and I'm going to paint on the underside of the pumpkin. And if you have too much paint, blot it on your paper towel. Too much paint or water. And I'm actually pulling some of that red up along the ridges of the pumpkin. See that? And I'm leaving the middle of the pumpkin still just yellow. But the combination of the red over the top of the orange, or over the top of the yellow, makes it look orange, doesn't it? See how I'm painting the red inside of the black lines that we drew?
Yes.
And so I'm using more red on the right side of the pumpkin where we're going to paint our shadows so that it's darker. I'm rinsing my brush, removing any extra water by swiping it along the edge of the jar. Great job. So rinse your brush. And now remove extra water. I'm going to grab the brown. Turn it so you guys can see. There's our brown. And again, I'm removing any extra paint by swiping my brush along the edge of the palette. And now I'm going to take the brown and put it on the right side of the pumpkin to create a shadow so that it's really dark on this side. And again, I'm just painting along the ridges of the pumpkin. And you can apply some of this dark color at the top and at the bottom of the pumpkin, but not as much in the middle because we want it to look shiny and round. While I have the brown on my brush, I'm going to paint the stem on the shadow side. Nice job. That looks great, just like a pumpkin. Now let's paint the rest of the stem green. I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow in it so it's a really, really bright spring green color. Yellow and green makes yellow green. And that's what I'm going to use to paint the rest of the stem.
Or light green.
Exactly. And you can mix up some more. That's a nice color. And now you can paint the grass. I'm just dabbing my brush like this along the ground. See how I'm using the flat side of the brush?
If we didn't have grass, it'll look like our pumpkin was floating in the air.
Yeah, now it looks grounded. like it's sitting on something and we can feel the heaviness of the pumpkin. That looks great. What a beautiful pumpkin. Just in time for fall. Do you think we should do some spatter effect today?
Yep.
Can't turn that down, huh? What color do you want your spatter to be? I think I'm gonna go for green. So I'm gonna add a bunch of water to that. All right, so make sure you have a nice wet brush. Dip it in that paint, and then I'm gonna take my 2 fingers and just tap, tap, tap.
Well, you could do the same thing with a toothbrush.
You could, yeah.
Spatter is super easy to do.
And fun.
That's a lot of teeth detail. It's okay if you get it on the pumpkin.
Yeah. I'm painting some of that really light color right behind my pumpkin too. I think I like how that looks. That looks awesome. All right, we'll let those dry and then we'll show everyone how they turned out. Sound good?
Sounds good. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and hit subscribe. Hit notifications so you won't miss any new video. Bye. Thanks for watching.